For 2 decades, Neighbors for Neighbors built a legacy upon connecting the community and helping neighbors in need.
Welcome to the Fall Neighbors for Neighbors special, Helping Feels Good. I'm Nicole Maristani. Over the next half hour, we're sharing some of our favorite stories over the past few months of neighbors like you coming together to help others. We start off with America's favorite pastime, baseball, and our own Miami Marlins. Local business All My Sons Moving and Storage wanted to share the baseball fun with some deserving fans, and Neighbors for Neighbors was happy to join the team.
They've been the noise section for the Marlins today.
You can see how happy they are. They made signs, and we're just so thankful for that.
Signs of support for the hometown team, and signs of thanks for folks who treated two groups to great seats at the game.
It means the world to them. You know, we always try to be part of different sporting events because they love sports and they love being out in the community.
An opportunity provided by All My Sons Moving and Storage. As official movers for the Marlins, the company celebrated their own day at the park.
Then we also wanted to include some local charities to give back to the community.
And that's when you called?
And we called Neighbors for Neighbors. And you guys helped us out. Definitely value our relationship.
So we reached out to our own partners at MacTown.
We serve people with developmental disabilities. We've been serving them for over 50 years.
And Branches.
Branches serves all age groups, from youth to families to adults, which provides emergency assistance and free immigration legal services to our South Florida Haitian community affected by the earthquake.
Two special organizations serving those in need.
We are so thankful. They love participating and going out, and you know, we try the best we can to get them out in the community to enjoy all the wonderful things we have here in Miami.
Neighbors for Neighbors works with both groups throughout the year.
We're very grateful to Neighbors for Neighbors, to All My Sons Moving and Storage. It has been a real treat, and we're all very excited to be here.
Marlins Park was also the site for generous grant donations from the Miami Foundation. A total of $1 million was awarded to nonprofit organizations who work to better the lives of people living in Miami-Dade County. The foundation awarded Neighbors for Neighbors a generous community grant for our volunteer match website, helpingfeelsgood.org. Other Neighbors for Neighbors partner organizations like Experience Aviation were also supported through the program. Founder and record-breaking pilot Barrington Irving shares his love of flying with students.
And our whole goal is to use aviation to make math and science appealing to young people and have them do some amazing things as it relates to, you know, have you ever had an 8-year-old build a car faster than a Ferrari, or a 13-year-old build an airplane from scratch?
And here's another reason to celebrate graduation day for the students transitioning out of foster care. And Neighbors for Neighbors was there for this major milestone, along with the agencies who will continue to help these students as they transition towards becoming independent adults.
Decked out in caps and gowns, graduates of all ages greet a room full of cheers.
Tonight we're celebrating all the kids that have graduated from middle school, high school, gotten their GEDs, a technical vocational certificate, their 2-year college degree, or a 4-year college degree.
It's an especially important moment for these students because all of them grew up in foster care. And statistically, many children who do don't make it to graduation.
We want to make it special for them, to support them.
The program features entertainment and a keynote speech from one graduate who knows what it's like to age out of the foster care system.
But I think it's important to share my stories. I run into many people that's repeating the same cycle. I just wanted to make sure that people knew that whatever their story was as to why they got into foster care, that they can overcome them.
Alcina says she wants those currently in the system to recognize the power they have to take control of their lives, even when everything around them may feel out of their control.
But they have to make the choice. Enough people have already failed us. It's time that they know that they have a story and, you know, maybe start listening to their own calling.
The positive message helped high school graduate Shonda Hamilton reflect on what the night meant to her.
I feel amazing. I feel like it's one step forward. I moved on with my life, and now I'm accomplishing all my goals.
Goals shaped with the help from many social service agencies, like the Flight Center, dedicated to helping foster care youth thrive.
We're the only one-stop center of its kind in the state of Florida, so our collaboration with all of our partnering agencies is what makes our system of care in Broward so successful.
Success these students are happy to share with the entire community.
We want as many people in the community wrapping their arms around our kids and getting them ready to be out in the community to become successful adults.
Now, still ahead, it's never too early to start thinking about the holidays. We'll show you how to get into the spirit of giving with Adopt a Family for the holidays. Then, our Back to School Bash, how you've helped South Florida students begin the new school year in style. And helping our heroes, how South Florida marked the anniversary of 9/11. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our Neighbors for Neighbors Fall Special. Now it's time for our Back to School Bash, and our South Florida neighbors are at the head of the class when it comes to donating school supplies to local students in need. And what's on everyone's back to school wish list? Well, for some students, their need goes beyond your basic pencils, paper, and protractors.
Backpacks, notebooks, and supplies all come to mind when we think of back to school shopping. But another important item, often forgotten about, helps students stay grounded: their shoes. So groups like In Jacobs Shoes team up with Neighbors for Neighbors and the Children's Services Council of Broward County's Back to School campaign.
Our mission is to collect and supply new and used shoes and other things to local children in need.
Volunteers are hard at work throughout the summer in preparation for the school year, taking in gently worn shoes to refurbish them.
When we get them in, they're dirty, we clean them, we scrub them, we disinfect them, we put new laces on them. They look like new.
The organization began as a way to honor the memory of a loved one.
We lost our son in 2008, our son Jacob. We started In Jacobs Shoes to honor his life, the way he lived his life, and the way he loved shoes, but also was the first to take his pair off to give it to somebody else who didn't have. Every time we donate a pair of shoes, he's with us.
But the charity has grown beyond back to school, supplying students with shoes year-round.
The social workers in Broward County make requests 2, 3, 4 times a week, and I think that the need is not just back to school, it's really year-round.
And the stories of students in need keep volunteers motivated.
There were 2 boys apparently that were alternating school days because they only had 1 pair of shoes to share, and I mean, it's just like, kills you.
When you walk in here and you see the faces of the children who have received shoes, you just know that in a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, there's going to be a child who's going to open that pair of shoes, and we all know what that's like to get a new pair of shoes. It's just an amazing feeling.
More than 15,000 pairs provided to students so far. They're looking forward to supplying shoes for many more to come.
In addition to our community coming together to help students get ready for the school year, some students took time over their summer breaks to help others prepare as well. Here's a look at a special group known for giving back to some of our community's most vulnerable for nearly 2 decades.
Kids can change the world through their acts of kindness.
Kindness, the cornerstone of this 16-year-old project teacher Beth Davis is passionate about.
This day is more special to me than my birthday, any other holiday you can imagine, because just to see these children having their needs met and to see these other children helping them, it's a lifelong dream.
Years ago, after seeing the need for school supplies in the migrant farm worker community, Davis came up with a way to connect her students with those in need through the Kids for Kids Club.
Kids for Kids and Neighbors for Neighbors has been a partnership for a long time. It all started when I went to get pencils donated, and I asked Channel 4 for pencils, and they said, well, let's partner up with this. And for years, you guys have been so supportive.
16 years later, Neighbors for Neighbors continues to partner with Kids for Kids Club. Today, a caravan of backpacks, books, supplies, and more will reach 600 children living in the migrant farm worker camps of Homestead.
I just think it's wonderful for them to realize, even though they're little, they can make a big difference in the world.
Hand in hand, the students get to know one another and together choose all supplies needed for the school year.
It was a great experience because I got to come to a migrant camp for the first time. I've never been here before, and I actually got to interact with the kids and be able to give them a backpack and give them a school book. Oh, I would love to continue to do this, yeah.
The volunteers leave changed, and the children served do too.
It benefits the children tremendously as well, because not only do they get the school supplies, but they get to see that not everybody in the world is bad, that there's still some good people out there that are caring and giving people.
Even those served years ago remember the special feeling of this day, Recently, Davis heard from a former student.
I was invited to the migrant graduation, and she got on the stage and she said, every year from the time I was in pre-K, you guys showed up on a Saturday and gave us a backpack, and you really made us feel like some stranger cared enough about us. It's because of Kids for Kids that I stayed in school.
With rich stories from the past to share, Davis and her team of volunteers look forward to the future.
We keep on going. This year, 600 backpacks. With more money next year, maybe 700, 1,000. I hope on the first day of school that when they put on their backpack, they stop for a moment and close their eyes and say, I made the difference in the life of someone else.
From South Dade, now back up to Broward, Neighbors for Neighbors partnered with the Children's Services Council of Broward County and others on a back-to-school extravaganza, ensuring thousands of students across the county were ready with supplies, clothing, and more as they head back to the classroom.
We worked very hard for a long time, and today is finally the day that we get to see their faces.
Months of planning come down to one very special day for thousands of students and their families.
It makes me feel really good because the kids are going to go to school with supplies and shoes and backpacks, and they're going to feel great. And the parents are going to be able to link up with all those services they need. So it's like one-stop shopping for a great school year.
The back-to-school extravaganza in Broward brings together hundreds of volunteers and partners to ensure all students and families have access to supplies, shoes, and even services for the school year.
We pretty much know which families are in need.
For an event this size, collaboration is key.
We partner with Neighbors for Neighbors, with the school board. The school social workers are checking off names from the different agencies that are saying our children need help, so that they're not receiving multiple backpacks. They're getting one, but they're getting one that's really a great backpack.
In addition to the backpacks, shoes are a big hit with students and a big help for the parents.
And I got some cool sneakers and sandals. It just, adds up so much with only one of us working. So we're very thankful. This is such a wonderful thing to do.
And you say to yourself, now a child can go to school feeling proud, showing their feet, when perhaps maybe before all they wanted to do was to tuck it under the seat.
Understanding and addressing family needs is an important part of the process.
We really get to interact with the people who are receiving the services.
We had volunteers coming to help with the setup. We made calls to the parents and the families to make sure they were coming out. So it's really been a large process.
A large process with a huge impact.
It was a good blessing, definitely. I mean, they helped out with a lot with the school supplies, the book bags, the uniforms, the shirt. It was definitely a blessing.
It's just a wonderful way to say, let's look at the family as a whole and support them as a whole. So it's neighbors helping neighbors, and that's what it's all about.
Neighbors for Neighbors is often at the center of many community connections. And when computer tech giant Intel reached out to us to find a service project for their local office, we thought our partners and volunteer experts at Hands on Broward would be the perfect fit.
It means a lot to us to be able to take a day off and come and give back to the community.
It may be a day out of the office, but these volunteers from Intel are hard at work. They're serving up warm meals and packing emergency food boxes at LifeNet for Families in the heart of Broward County.
Every day we have a community kitchen that's open to anyone who's hungry, no questions asked. You're hungry, you come in.
More than 500 people come through the doors of LifeNet for Families each day. It's a big task to feed Broward County's hungry.
We couldn't do what we do without volunteers. It's our small army.
Intel's local office contacted us at Neighbors for Neighbors to find out how they could volunteer for their Global Day of Service.
The cool thing about this is this came to Hands on Broward through Neighbors for Neighbors, knowing all of the great work that Neighbors for Neighbors does in the community.
Our partners at Hands on Broward designed a volunteer project for their team.
In a period of 3 to 4 hours, these companies can come out, enjoy a great customized day of service with Hands on Broward, and realize their potential to impact change in our community.
Intel will also make a financial contribution to LifeNet for Families, $10 an hour for each volunteer served. In this group's case, it's roughly a $600 donation.
You realize how appreciative you are with your own life, and then realize that some people are struggling, and so it's just nice to get out and help others.
LifeNet for Families has been providing services for the hungry and homeless for more than 25 years. Now coming up, it still feels like summer outside, but it's never too early to start thinking about the holidays. And we hope you'll make room on your shopping list to adopt a family in need this year. Then, running to honor our heroes. South Florida's first responders answer the call. And this young man is getting ready for a set of new wheels thanks to a racing champion. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Neighbors for Neighbors Fall Special. Earlier this month, the nation observed the anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks with events held across the country. South Florida honored the day with the Tunnels to Towers 5K run in downtown Fort Lauderdale. The run is more than a commemorative event. It also raises money for the local military families and first responders in need of help.
Here's our media partner, Ion South Florida, with the story.
The event, now in its third year, commemorates the actions of New York firefighter Stephen Siller, a first responder who lost his life during the September 11th terrorist attacks on New York City.
He heard there was something going on at the World Trade Center, and he turned his truck around, got his gear, and when he was heading towards Manhattan through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, all traffic was prohibited by that point. It was all jammed up. And he got out, put his gear on, and ran through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel to try to save lives. It was about a 2-mile run.
The Tunnel to Towers run, held across the nation during 9/11 week, attracts running enthusiasts, amateurs, and numerous military personnel and first responders, many of whom choose to run the 5K course in full gear to honor the sacrifice of their brother responder Siller. Siller is believed to have run encumbered with 60 pounds of gear through Brooklyn Battery Tunnel to meet his fellow firefighters from Squad Company 1 and their fateful rendezvous with destiny and American lore. A dozen members of the squad, including Siller, gave their lives in order to save others at the World Trade Center.
Every single time we think of 9/11, we think of 343 brothers, we think of Port Authority Police, NYPD, everybody who knew at the time that there was a good chance they weren't going to come out of that building alive when they went in. It's something every first responder is prepared to think about, deal with, and make that decision as the time comes. And we hope we're able to do that and make appropriate decisions when the time comes ourselves.
We can't forget. No matter what happens, we can't forget 9/11.
Organizers say that 1,300 people registered for the Fort Lauderdale run. Mayor Jack Seiler, who was joined by Sunrise Mayor Mike Ryan, one of the run participants and organizers, was pleased with the turnout and the city's part in commemorating a day which will long resonate in the hearts and memories of Americans of all generations.
12 years ago, a lot of us were paralyzed by what we saw, but there was a group that ran towards the disaster and the horror, and we're running for them today. And so it was easy to get out there and kick it up just a little bit. It's a great event. Thanks, Mayor.
The funds that are raised from this race and all the other races go to build smart homes for the critically injured soldiers who suffer their injuries in Iraq and Afghanistan, especially the triple and quadruple amputees. It helps build smart homes, which allow them to live more independent lives.
Now, our next story comes to us from our friends at the Darrell Gwynn Foundation. It's about a young man with special needs, his dedicated grandparents, and a new set of wheels that's changing his life.
Come on in!
Meet Gino, the apple of his grandparents' eyes.
He can make you laugh, and he can play with you, and he can sing, and he can recite.
Itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout.
Like many 10-year-olds, he likes to swim, to ride horses, and root for the Miami Hurricanes.
There's a cane over here.
What?
Ready? Gino is our gift. We absolutely believe he was meant to be our gift.
When most folks their age are coasting into retirement, Rhonda and Bill Monroe have started all over again.
Things happen that some people think are sad and unfortunate, and there were things that happened that gave him a rough start, which is why he is ours to raise.
Gino was born premature at just 28 weeks, and it's been a challenging road ever since.
Basically, I pick him up and put him in the car, and then put the wheelchair in the back.
These grandparents have dedicated their lives to help Gino thrive, and though his future looks bright, they worry about what it could hold.
He's getting bigger and bigger, and I'm getting older, so that's not a good combination. Well, the idea is that he's going to be going into middle school in a couple of years, and he really needs to be powering himself around, not have somebody pushing him all the time.
And that's where the Darrell Gwynn Foundation comes in.
Gino has an unbelievable story, and he's just one of those ones that just, touch you right in the heart. And for what he's been through and for what's facing him ahead.
Race car Hall of Famer Darrell Gwynn knows firsthand the challenges of living with a spinal cord injury.
At that age, you just want to get up and do everything, and that chair will basically help be his, arms and legs for him to be able to play with his his friends and classmates and fit in at school.
Now he's made it his mission to put adults and kids, like Gino, in the driver's seat of their own set of powered wheels.
The power wheelchair that the Daryl Glenn Foundation gave to Gino will give him all the freedom and the independence and mobility that somebody like Gino deserves, and we all deserve.
And that's why Gino was chosen as the Foundation's latest recipient of a powered wheelchair.
Things are beginning to look brighter for Gino, and we're glad to be a part of that.
As we continue to share some of our favorite stories over the past few months of neighbors like you coming together to help others, we're excited to kick off our holiday campaign, Adopt a Family for the Holidays. What better way to share the spirit of the holidays than by helping others? Here's a follow-up story from one young man at our partners at Mactown. He was adopted last year, and his gifts continue to give him joy all year long. Ernest Mintmeyer loves taking pictures
Any place I go, I really enjoy taking pictures.
of his family members, his friends, and the outdoors.
It's my favorite hobby.
And he captures these meaningful moments on camera, a camera given to him last year through the generosity of South Florida couple Twyla and Gonzo Gonzalez.
We just really wanted to remember the spirit of the holidays. We really wanted Christmas to be about someone else.
Ernest's story was submitted to the Neighbors for Neighbors Adopt a Family for the Holidays program by our partners at Mactown. For more than 50 years, Mactown serves thousands of adults with developmental and intellectual disabilities.
Every family that we put in for adoption, they were adopted and they received all the wonderful gifts and everything that they asked for. It was truly a blessing.
The Gonzalez family instantly connected with Ernest's story.
Ernest's request was a camera and a printer, and we're like, hey, that's what I do. Let's go out there and let's do the little bundling thing with the camera and the printer, since we were able to do that.
I just got a phone call one day, and they told me that somebody wanted to adopt me. And I was very surprised. They came, and I was in awe.
It was a gift for us to be able to do this for them.
And you too can share the spirit of the holidays, but don't wait till December rolls around. Log on to neighborsforneighbors.org to sign up for the Adopt a Family for the Holidays program today. We hope these stories have touched and inspired you. They represent only some of the good Neighbors for Neighbors does all year long, and we couldn't do it without you, our viewers, our neighbors. Your generous contributions allow us to help families in crisis rebuild their lives. Donations are tax deductible, and you can go onto our website at neighborsforneighbors.org to make a secure credit card contribution. If you would like more information on any of the stories you've seen here today, please call our phone bank at 305-597-4404.
Thank you to the generous supporters and underwriters for helping Neighbors for Neighbors continue to make community connections for our neighbors in need. The Herbert W. Hoover Foundation, the Children's Services Council, CBS 4, and MyTV33.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Nicole Maristani. Remember, you really can make a difference by helping our neighbors, and helping feels good.